Welcome back to the Clock Shop. This is Jim with JR Clocker on eBay. Let's see what happened at the Clock Shop this week. Welcome back to the Clock Shop. This is Jim with JR Clocker on eBay. Today we're going to do a bushing job on a Seth Thomas 89, and this is day one. Now these wheels I have to do, I'm going to put these to the side. I know I have to do them on this side. Can't remember all the rest of them that I have to do. And I have three on this side. These two and this one. So I'll put them aside, put the rest. Put you up too. So I'm going to need to take these off. I don't know if you don't have these clamps. I don't know. I love them. They go straight from assembly right onto the wall to test. Okay. Again, I'm going to transfer my marks from the outside. I don't know if you can see them again. Little black marks there, where the direction of the wear. I'm going to transfer them. And you actually get a better view from the back side. Okay, now they're marked. Doing the same two on the time that I did yesterday. The others look good, but I'm going to do the strike side first. I'm taking my center and I'm putting it in. And that finds what I call the live center. And what I do, keep everything pretty loose. I look for that black mark. Leave that open a little bit, because that's where it's supposed to go. I kind of put pressure away from the black mark. As I tighten everything up, and then I re-inspect. Now, I'll find the bushing after I do this section. Alright, so that's tight. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I suggest how I learned. I was in a 4-year apprenticeship, and how I learned was, I didn't have my first bushing machine until I went out on my own. The gentleman, the European gentleman that I studied under, didn't believe in bushing machines, so we did it all by hand. And actually, it really worked out well, because you really learn, and it makes it much easier, much easier to do it. Much easier when you get the bushing machine to get things squared away, which you need to do. It makes it go faster. Let's put it that way. There's no doubt about what you're doing, the speed, the confidence. It's an amazing, and it's an inexpensive way. I need to do another video on doing it by hand, and that'll might be useful. I don't get into doing all of them by hand right now, so unfortunately we're very, very busy, and we are actually closing on the first 2 weeks in July. Not that I'll be off somewhere having a grand vacation. I will be here working. Because we're going to be catching up, which will be a very nice thing to do. Because we haven't done any advertising in the first, well, we don't do any advertising. But I am going to think about doing pointed advertising. Might as well get these two out so I can put my box away, so I don't make another issue of I'm dealing with right now. I'm dealing with right now, and that is box full mixed up. Bushings. Good. And this one should be good for here. And it is. I'll keep that simple. Okay. This way. I've collected the 3 bushings that I need with the correct plate thickness, so I don't have to grind them down, and I know which tools I'm going to need. And I'm going to end up with a 3.47 millimeter brooch. But I'm going to start with a 2.47 brooch, and that will ease the hole open to where I can cut. Don't try to cut the bushing size you need. Go 2 down, cut slow, so you don't one, damage your brooch, but 2, get away from the center. You have to stay on center here. So the mark is in the back, so I'm putting my thumb in the back, and I'm making sure that it's starting correctly. Then I can sit back and just watch it happen. And okay, once you really get the meat in there, then it goes pretty fast. All right, I'll put this aside since all 3 of them are going to be the same outside diameter. And this one you don't have to push quite as hard. Matter of fact, halfway through I can just let it go. These are made to taper in, the early ones, to taper in and then really grab the meat for the final diameter. And this one I don't even need, so I usually sit here and rest it. Keep my hands away from it. Once you do this for a long time, you just know where you are. You know, what bushings you're going to need. When you have a nice kit all set up here with all the measurements on it, it's easy. Not so easy when you drop them all over the floor and you end up, where is that? Anyway, a whole tube full of them. You've seen it before if you watch any of my earlier videos. I take the opportunity while it's in the vise to chamfer it. I chamfer the ends to make a little oil dam for them. Oil well, whatever. And go in there, feel the grind, give them a couple turns. Not real hard. I don't want to make the bushing wear any faster by making it too thin. I just want a little, I don't know what you'd say, how small or how big it is, but it's not very, it's very small and not too big. I guess you can say that. Last night, in the first part of the video, I was working like, my son Jeff went out of town today, so he worked late last night to get some things done before he left. I'm like, okay, I'll work with you. I haven't worked that late in a long time. I think I was here till 11 o'clock. Anyway, I thought I pulled it. Oh no, I didn't. I went to pull my live. Let me get my live center into place. All right, this one had a really deep cut, so I really want to make sure that I'm lined up correctly. Getting back to doing it by hand, in some ways, this part of it is easier being done by hand because you have you have your broach going and your thumb up against it, and it's a touch feel situation where once you've done it enough times, you realize, it just becomes natural. And then when you move over to the bushing machine, you have to take a lot of that touch and feel to just eye, coordination, but it helps to know what it's supposed to do. I guess it's kind of hard to make a call. Now, with the deep cut, I go kind of real slow here, because this is where you can damage a broach. And I don't try to force anything except keeping it on the center side of the hole. When it's this deep too, the second broach I put in, I keep pressure on as well. I'm gonna use that again. Just to keep that center correct. You can't go into this, and this is why, again, I suggest doing them by hand first, and then I suggest people just starting out doing them on, you can find plates all over the place, and if you need some, let me know. I'll list them on eBay for you. They're like, I don't know, cheap. But where they've lost all the guts, they just have the plates. I'd sit there and practice on them, because no harm, no foul. All right, this is my final. Practice, practice, practice. That's why I tell people, I know you've heard it from me many times, you're going to hear from it again. I almost put the wrong bushing in, but find a time-only movement, preferably something from maybe an old 8-inch drop regulator or something like that, made by one of the American makers, and put that together and practice with that. Practice it, taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together. I suggest the first time you take it apart, you take pictures. That's repetition is the best teacher, and if you do if you do repetition and taking apart, putting back together, taking apart, putting back together. Frankly, I do so many Seth Thomas movements, especially the 89 series, that I can put them back together pretty quickly. A normal complete overhaul for a sessions movement usually takes me from first clean to last clean, if I'm sitting here all together, no more than 4 hours. Okay, now that 4 hours is split up a little bit because there's other things going on, but I usually figure it at 4 hours. I can do a Seth Thomas like this in 2. I just, I know the bushings out of the box that it's going to take. I sit here and go, oops, I almost did the wrong bushing on, put the wrong bushing in here. They're both the same diameter. The inside is a little bit different. And, this is an escapement, this is a second wheel, and they're just a little bit different. And the pivots, and all of a sudden I realize, I did the escape. I better grab that escape, bushing from over here. Here's the second wheel bushing right there. So, you know, that's repetition, doing it over and over and over and over, and then over and then over and over again. I know it may sound boring to do, and it may be boring after the 10th time you do it, but if you do it, put it aside, put it up on the wall, running, whatever, watch it, think about it, and then break it down, take it apart, put it back together again, put it back up on the wall, and nothing's changed and everything's good. You just keep doing that, and what you're going to find out is that, oh, I'm getting really good at this. And you just start naturally knowing where things go. Even after all these years, I always second guess myself, especially since I'm getting up in age, and I do mark my wheels. It just helps me get it back together faster, and it's, if you want to call it a security blanket, it is, and because there's never any doubt. Is that wheel supposed to be this way, or oh no, it's supposed to be this way because my mark. And I, by habit, I always take my mark on here. I'm going to find it. Here's my mark. So I know this is up, and it's going to, when the count wheel goes off, it's going to be in the right count. It's not going to go from 1 to 12. It's going to go from 1 to 2. And that's really important because, man, it will fit like that. And if you do that and you get there and you have it all back together, and then you go, I got to take it all the way apart, because you got to take it all the way apart to get this to do this. So do yourself a favor. Mark your wheels as you're taking it apart. I normally, I always have my Sharpie. I'll hit the wheel with a Sharpie mark, which is, my Sharpie mark is right here. All right, right there. And then when I'm taking it out, I take the Sharpie mark, I put that, and then I put my little S here, and then I put it away. When it goes in the cleaner, the Sharpie mark goes away, and the little S stays. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. It doesn't hurt the value of the clock. It doesn't weaken it. Anyway, this is another one which has a very big cut. This thing ran for a long time and burnt that bushing pretty far. So I'm going to take some care in figuring this one out. You get to a point where you get it, even though I'm not looking this way, I know from this side that I got it right. I'll look over here anyway. Yep. It's just feel. Tighten these up. Make sure. Yep. All right. So now we're tight. And if you can imagine, if I wasn't sitting here talking, I'd already have this movement halfway put back together, but I still have to clean it. So, I mean, this really needs to be cleaned badly. Talking about, I put it through the wash once because I always do. Then it'll go through the wash again, and then the springs, they need to be cleaned and tested. See if I need new springs, and then. Usually, for some reason, I usually get a point that I wash it the third time. This one might only need two. Usually if I'm doing a video, I do 3. All right. Somebody's in the shop. You can hear my dog in the background. He likes to say hello to everybody. But my wife's up front. I think somebody's picking up. I mean, somebody might be dropping off, but I have a bunch going out today. And my little wife, his little sister sitting there going, "Be quiet." I don't know if you can hear. I won't be able to tell till I actually hear the tape or edit. So if you can hear dog barking right now, should I interject dog barking? Nah. Should I dub it in? Nah. Just believe me, he's out there watching over his mom. Actually, he loves to say hi to everybody, but we have a gate up between the front and the back. And we do that because he has a tendency to jump up on the showcases and knock stuff over. So we had to put a gate in. He wants to say hi. So we put the gate in and he started barking at people because he wants to say hi to them. So every once in a while, if it's really quiet and the people are pretty good with it, I'll open the gate and slowly let him go up the showcase. That usually brings his sister out because she thinks he's getting a treat or something. And so this is the last one. So I'm going to put these back. Pretty sloppy guy in general, but I take pretty good care of my bushing machine. They're expensive. And go in here and chafer them. And then I'm going to clean it. And then put it back together. But I'll come back after it's cleaned. See if I can get you a shot of the grime and the grunge.